everyone. Welcome back to Keys to the Rock. As always, Ben Rigo, joined by my friend Bicep Dan, looking fantastic in the Keys to the Rock branded polo. Daniel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I appreciate that.
No worries. And of course, we need to do a special shout out to our main sponsor, CG Insurance.
Good like that.
And Daniel, you want to talk about last episode?
Last episode was amazing. We was up in, down in St. George's, the eastern end of the island.
No sixes.
No sixes. Yeah. No sixes. A cup match. Do better. Anywho, we was joined by the great Tiara Wilson of Crown Point BDA Luxury Vacation Rentals.
Yep.
And honestly, it was just it was very refreshing just to sort of hear her perspective on the whole vacation homes and rentals and that market in itself. You know, I'm not going to say it's niche anymore because it's so popular and in demand in this day and age, you know. And so she added great perspective and a lot of information that if you're looking to, you know, have... if you're looking to rent out, if you're looking to rent out yourself, or if you're looking to shop around, or if you're been considering, so it was great to hear from her, and we really appreciated that. So if you haven't watched it already, go back, scroll back, and give that a watch. But anyway, everyone saw that intro. We saw the trailer. Ben, tell us about this property, because this property right here. I like a lot.
Me likey, long time. And I've actually never been here until today. So special shout out to Margaret Young, who I think, I love to call the queen of real estate in Bermuda without a doubt. And this property, I mean, it's called Villa Cliff. It is in Smiths, just off of Napton Hill. The views here, I mean, even the architecture, as you've seen from the intro, nothing like really anything I've seen.
No, it reminds me of like a luxurious hotel
like the
sort
lobby
of vibe,
area. I mean,
like, you know.
The entryway, we keep calling a lobby.
Yeah.
It's really, really spectacular. Available to international buyers, which, what does that mean? How does it qualify?
The ARV is over a certain...
126,000.
122, 800?
126, 126,000, but all of that...
We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah. But no, but it's an amazing property, and unbelievable views. So thank you so much to the seller, and of course to Margaret for giving us access to this sensational location.
And since you're already on your roll right now, tell us a little bit about the market right now. I mean, we're going to get great update from our next guest, and I'll let you introduce him in a bit. But just tell us about the market activity right now compared to last time we shot the episode in January. So has there been much change in 2022 or?
So whenever I get these questions from sellers or, in a coffee shop in passing, everyone keeps asking, what's going on with the market? And I'm never, we never want to be overly salesy and, full of fluff in this industry. It's all about the facts that rise above the fluff. And I honestly don't think that this seller's market, or even for the landlords, the kind of benefit that they're getting, it won't last forever. Speaking to people who've been like Margaret and my father and others who've been in the industry for decades, they've seen 5 different times where the market goes like this. But surprisingly,
have they been through pandemics though?
No, but there's been all sorts of crises and things. But nonetheless, it is incredible that still, over the last couple of months to start off 2022, the market is on fire still. Places literally, depending on location, getting offers at asking or over right away. But again, it is the location factor. But it will not last forever. Rental inventory is at about a quarter of what it normally is. Actually, Property Skipper can touch upon that. But that's from our most recent research.
What's Property Skipper?
We will find out a lot about that, actually. But sales inventory is very low as well. So pretty good opportunity, to strike while the iron's hot when there's so much confidence from buyers and renters looking to move.
Nice. Impressive. And so even before, so I also wanted to touch on something myself.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just give a little bit of a background in terms of where we come from a valuation standpoint when we're assessing properties, because everyone knows valuation plays a very critical part if you are getting financing from, just generally, if you want to know what your property is worth, if you're considering it.
Tough in these times because there's a place that's under contract now. In about 3 years, the seller is making they bought it about 3 years ago. They're making about $500,000. So they're selling. It's in contract now, signed and stamped. Yeah. So looking to that, and actually that was about a 30% increase. So it wasn't like a mega price point, and where that was minimal. So how, as a valuer, do you look at the current situations and choose on price?
Well, you look at the market activity. One, location is something that is just sorted. I mean, it's the number one rule of real estate, I guess. Location, location, location. So certain areas have stable capital values, and those will rise with the tide as they come along. Another aspect that we tend to use, depending on the type of property, is also the type of rental returns and investment returns that it can bring in. So some of those factors right there really influence it, and I think we're going to try to work a valuation expert into an episode in
What
the
are
near
you, like
future.
an intern then? Yeah, you're
Oh, it's going to rough me up. I knew once I said that, I knew he was going to jump on that. Anyway,
you are an expert, mate.
I did smile. But anyway, we're going to jump into, we're going to bring on our guest.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to cut to some of the sponsors that we have that have so exciting new partnerships, actually. So I'm going to just give a quick run through of it before we go into our esteemed guests.
Yep.
So we have a partnership with Burn News, which is fantastic. They're going to be sharing some of our content. Our episodes will be going there live once a month. CG Insurance is our title sponsor, and they are really powering us to be able to put together the production and all of those aspects that we have there. We also have Greenlight.
Speaking of power.
We have Greenlight Energy Limited, which is the solar power company, and they've come in. They actually was featured on episode 3 or 4, 3 or 4,
yeah, after the HSBC.
And they provided great insight into the solar opportunities that present themselves in Bermuda. And then last but not least, we have Hamilton Legal. And they're actually our next guest. We'll have Matt Kelly from Hamilton Legal, who will come in and provide basically a great rundown of everything from, the legal aspect.
Why do you need a lawyer?
Why do you need a lawyer?
What do real estate lawyers do? Can you have other lawyers do your conveyance, et cetera, et cetera? So that is a critical component. So looking forward to that one too.
And then we're also looking for someone to dress Ben. So we're going to be reaching out to a few different partners to see if they can just help him.
I can do the work attire, as you know, but the casual swag, as you and all the mates joke, I have no skill in that.
Yeah.
So maybe one episode we can dress opposite, and that's where I really need the help.
This is me dressed up.
Yeah, true.
Anywho, well, Ben, tell us about our guest, and actually, let's just introduce him. Go ahead.
One of the biggest names in real estate, absolutely has helped change the game over recent years. So Peter Goodall, good all the time is what I like to say, and Peter and
banter.
I know, but they've done an amazing thing with PropertySkipper.com. So much so that it's also in other locations around the world, and it's really helping be a main database for your searching, where you don't have to browse 10 websites to find out what's going on. So, we'd like to welcome on Peter, and looking forward to chatting.
Is that my lunch? Is that my lunch?
We're like the coworker that doesn't eat your lunch.
I'm John.
CG, good like that.
And we're back with Peter Goodall of PropertySkipper.com. So, Peter, we're going to jump right into it. There was a lot of questions sent in via our Instagrams, our socials, and all of that. Tell us about yourself and tell us about PropertySkipper.com.
Thanks very much, guys, and thank you for including me on your show today.
Sure.
We started Property Skipper here in Bermuda. It's coming up to about 8 years ago now.
Okay.
And it was actually, I wasn't in the property industry. It was something that I just felt was massively missing from the Bermuda market.
Yeah.
I'd been living in the UK, where already the sort of market had moved completely online.
Yeah.
We'd moved back here. We needed to move out of our house to do some renovation works. Looking for a rental, it was a complete nightmare. Still getting the newspaper every day. Some agents had websites at that point, some didn't, and I just thought there had to be a better way. And obviously, being familiar with the property portals in the UK and Europe and the States, I thought it would be a good opportunity to introduce one to the Bermuda market.
Only 8 years old. That's impressive.
We're coming on 9 years.
But that's impressive. It feels like it's been around for like
That's
is.
just-
I
we
mean,
have-
right?
you-
and then
you-
after that, before you know, it'll be 10 years. But, you know, it's incredible. I mean, obviously from, you know, Property Skipper, I think.
then 11 after that.
I mean, no big deal. I know math, but it's kind of similar to, you know, we have people who watch the show who might be familiar in the States with like a Trulia or a Zillow or a Realtor.com, or in the UK. What are the kind
Yeah,
of
the
comparables?
Zoopla, Rightmove.
Okay.
In Holland, there's places like Funder. So most countries have a portal. It's very, it's become the sort of norm for people to look for property in an arena where, you know, all the agents'
MLS.
listings are collated in a single place.
Yeah, so that's basically the most layman's language definition of it, is a website where you have a one-stop shop, and majority of the industry, I'd say, maybe, I don't know, not all the companies are on
I think in Bermuda, I think pretty much everyone that's got a website is on there. There may be one or two smaller agents that aren't. But yeah, you're pretty much going to find 99% of the real estate agent inventory in Bermuda on there.
So if you're not at RegalSotheby'sRealty.com, then you're at PropertySkipper.com, essentially. Have to do the little plug. But so talk about, you know, over recent months or year-over-year activity. I mean, obviously more people are perhaps at home, especially during COVID.
Or I'd even extend it further than that, like, you know, like pre-pandemic to
traffic-wise.
yeah, to when the pandemic hit to I guess where we're at now, you know.
Yeah,
But
I think going into the pandemic, you know, traffic growth was very strong. Obviously, you know, 2020, February, March, going into April, it sort of dived off a cliff, and you know, and obviously for everyone, the world stopped. It was quite remarkable then, by May, by the sort of end of the first lockdown here in Bermuda, we suddenly started to see traffic pick up sort of reasonably significantly. Yeah. And I think, you know, this is not just a phenomenon in Bermuda. The same happened.
Yeah, a lot of people
suddenly
were at home
that period at home of, you know, 4 to 6 weeks, you know, they suddenly realised, actually, I don't have anywhere at home where I can do work. They don't have a garden
to get away from their kids and
I
things
can't
like
get away
that.
from kids. I can't get away from anything.
Or do I need this much space?
Or exactly.
Yeah.
And also there was also I think embedded on top of that, for a lot of people there was that then financial uncertainty of what the pandemic meant for them as well. So we saw a huge then pick up in traffic in the sort of latter half of 2020. That carried through then through to 2021, where we grew traffic a further 20%. And then in January we've just had, we're up 20% over January last year. So we're still seeing very positive trends. In Bermuda, for example, you know, we're now getting over 80,000 visits a month.
Wow.
Which for an island of 65,000 is I think pretty
impressive.
But it's also indicative of the interest that people have in property.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying all 80,000 people or 80,000 visitors to our site every month are
And those are
active
unique visitors
buyers.
as well?
No, unique's slightly lower. So unique would be around about 40,000.
Right, meaning that if it's the same person, same IP address or not, or people going back multiple times.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. We have to define things here.
Absolutely. We won't absolutely. So yeah, we've seen fantastic, you know, sort of fantastic continued growth and interest in the property market. I think in Bermuda, as we all know, you know, when a new listing comes on the market, you know, there's lots of people interested anyway.
Immediately,
you know, it's their neighbour's house. They've never had a chance to look inside the sitting room, or you know, it used to be sort of great aunt's house, and they want to see what the last owners did to it.
Yeah.
So you know, there's always interest in property, and I think that, you know, it's a great vehicle, you know, for agents to promote their listings and to get the volume of traffic to their property listings that the seller would expect.
Mm-hmm. And just quickly, you know, I know you're obviously referencing Bermuda, where you live, and of course where we are. But where else is Property Skipper?
So Bermuda is obviously our hometown. Mm-hmm. Obviously, after the sort of initial success in Bermuda, we also launched it in the Channel Islands. So we're in Guernsey, and then more latterly Jersey, and we're also in British Virgin Islands. Mm-hmm. So I think the correlation between those is that, you know, these are, you know, perhaps for expats who working in insurance or the legal world or accountancy. These are the kind of islands that they're moving to if they specialize in sort of offshore finance and that sort of
with
thing.
Property Skipper when they're
and
looking.
they're familiar. We saw a lot of crossover in Bermuda when we started. We sort of saw traffic coming in from the Channel Islands and sort of why is that, and realised that actually there's a turnover of staff and similar sort of base of corporate companies, and these guys are moving around between them. I think that secondly, there's also, if you're in the UK or looking to move offshore, and looking at some of these jurisdictions, these are the kind of islands that you might be considering. So there's a good fit, and we've seen very similar trends to what we've been seeing in Bermuda over the last couple of years. This is very similar in Guernsey and Jersey as well, in terms of the not just the sort of volume of traffic, but also the upward pressure on house prices and declining levels of inventory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting. This is all very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, from a buyer's perspective, or even just someone looking to rent, what sort of, I guess, explain the process and how you guys fit into that for the searching process.
I think it's pretty, obviously we're a completely open website. You don't need to have a login or anything. You can just go onto Property Skipper, put in your, whether you're buying or renting, put in your parameters in terms of price range, bedrooms and that sort of thing. And you can search daily. You can also create an alert, so as soon as a new listing comes on the market, you'll get emailed into your email box the new listing. That's been a huge driver of traffic growth as well over the last couple of years, and we've seen, particularly recently when inventory's been low, that buyers, as soon as that alert goes out, agents are getting inquiries on that listing, because these are really sort of focused group of buyers who are waiting within a certain price point and a certain parish for the right thing to come up. And so when they do come on, there's genuine
sort of
interest.
jumping right on it.
Even real estate agents. I have the alert set up for every rental and sale, no matter the price point, in every parish, so that every morning, they come in at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. I'm aware of every new listing as well when we're working with people. So I'm sure agents as well are probably a big driver of
I'm
of
sure,
all of that
absolutely.
activity. Yeah. And so speaking of agents, and obviously the standards and quality per website that then feeds to Property Skipper are all different. But, with the importance and the improvement of photography and now videography and things like that, is there like a quality control or different standards or things that you're trying to encourage?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what Property Skipper helps is it helps make the market here more transparent. Yeah. It makes it more makes it more comparable. And I say to agents as well, it's not just buyers on Property Skipper, it's sellers, and it's sellers looking, potentially looking at which agencies they might want to list their property with. And so they also get to see, which agents are taking high quality images, who's writing nice descriptions, who's got, who's perhaps doing sort of Matterport type tours or floor plans or, whatever it might be. We've definitely seen, an improvement in the last several years in sort of photography quality, and I think we've seen, agents adding videos, Matterport tours, and this sort of thing, and drone footage, and that's great, because I think, particularly, the pandemic has made people realise, particularly if you've got sort of high-end rentals or high-end sales listings, it's not as easy for those people just to be able to fly out to the island and go check it out. And so actually that some of that video footage and quality of images has sort of helped, at least in that initial stage for those buyers or renters to sort of filter out properties that may or may not be of interest.
Because you've probably even had a few properties bought unseen.
We've done sight unseen tours even over 10 million. Which is incredible, and then rentals, over 20,000 and stuff like that. So it is pretty ridiculous, actually. But again, when you do video and all of that, it's kind of the fine balance of wanting to show too much, where they can kind of check it off the list. I always want to do a little bit of a tease of a video and a post to then, entice someone to
Engage,
contact me, and
yeah.
then the face-to-face, salesmanship and touring through a property, pointing out the nice aspects of it. That's kind of what you want. And I don't want to show too much, but what's great about Property Skipper is when you scroll, if you're looking up to $1 million in Paget, you see 10 listings, and you see how you're matched up versus other companies and other agents and what they do. So just naturally, it's kind of helping everyone raise the game, So it's done wonders for that as well.
So another question, I guess we spoke about sort of where we're going and the direction and the quality control and aspects you're trying to push in that sense. What would you say in terms of sort of, what's next for Property Skipper, if that makes?
Well, I mean, the next thing that we've really focused on, I mean, I think that, we're obviously, outside Bermuda, continuing to look to sort of grow in other islands. Here in Bermuda, the main sort of thing that we've been working on over the last year is sort of integrating a mortgage platform into the website. So we've started up a new mortgage brokerage called Mawson Financial, and basically this was driven out of the fact that people are on Property Skipper, they're looking to buy. These people are looking for mortgages.
Keep
it's
everything
seamless, interconnected, and the two, on the whole, go hand in hand. And I think that one thing that I noticed in the market here, it's not always clear to see what the mortgage rates are. If you sort of really dig around the sort of various banks' websites and stuff, you can normally find them.
It's pretty unknown. Like there's also that aspect of, I think, where you guys will be a little bit more transparent than other, say, financial institutions that's traditionally done it, is people will be able to get it there and now, quick, one-stop shop. But
because otherwise we tell people to shop around the banks and see what they can get. But what's great, I've noticed on when you search a property on Property Skipper, and then it has the Mawson Financial, and it tells you what your estimated monthly payments will be and all of that.
Yeah, we
right
just
away.
actually launched that today.
Okay, well,
so
I saw
it's just
that
on today, and so you're
breaking news.
regular customer.
Yeah.
So when you're on a sales listing now, it will have one of the products that we're promoting, and it will have an estimated monthly mortgage cost. So so people looking around can get an idea. I think that's another thing. I think there's people here who perhaps are in the rental market, and they're kind of maybe slightly daunted about buying somewhere because of both the mortgage costs and the other upkeep costs. And I think it's just trying to bring a bit more transparency, because often even though Bermuda maybe perceived to have higher mortgage rates than other jurisdictions, we also have higher rental rates.
Might be less than your rental payment would be. Yeah.
In many circumstances, we've heard from clients who have been contacting about the mortgage product that the mortgage rate will be lower than what they're paying in rent, which is that's
true.
That's
if they can make the rent, why shouldn't they?
Absolutely. I think the thing is here is
right?
it's same as everywhere. It's obviously the deposit is always
the deposit
is a big
barrier to entry for a lot of people, especially in this day and age, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a whole separate conversation.
That's another conversation. Yeah.
But so with that said, and this is me putting sort of a valuation hat on, is obviously comparables is sort of where we would generate a lot of our estimations about what the market value is for a different property. Sales prices.
Yeah.
Somewhat traditionally have been a little bit more difficult, and details about properties, and you look overseas and you can find out my neighbor's house sold for this much, this house sold for this much, this house sold for this. It's public information that's accessible. In Bermuda, it's not as easily collated to the point where you can sort of grab that data and have it handy.
I mean, it's something that we've been working on. We do have a database called Skipper Stats, so no one will know about because it's only accessed by the agent community at the moment. Until now, launching Skipper Stats.
Exactly.
And this is basically, we've built up now sort of a couple of years of history. We need to build up more, in my view, before it's public. But it is something that it takes time. We're working on it.
It's not going to happen overnight.
And we don't then have the sales prices though.
We get the
yes,
we do. So the sales prices come through to the database from Property Skipper, and then we match them with the government sales prices.
Right.
So for agents looking through the database, they can see the property as it was on Property Skipper, and then the sold price below.
Because there's only two companies that actually have a bulk database of for 10, 20 years or whatever. No, there are two. And I'm saying there's two. There's not one.
There's other databases.
No. But that actually have, I could tell you the neighbor's house if it's sold in 2008, what price, how many days on the
Probably
market.
that goes back that far.
Yeah.
What valuation? Most people.
No valuers, but again, a lot of valuers reach out and want to know, what did that sell for? Because they don't have the, yep, because they don't have the they're smaller companies and stuff like that. They don't have someone who's dedicated to doing that and collating that data. But I think that, Peter, would be amazing to have that kind of information and transparency. We were talking off camera that I think all the agents, we all need to, no matter the company, all work together. And no matter, we all have the fiduciary responsibility to the sellers, and knowledge is power. And if anyone wants to know what one of my listings sold for, I'll tell them right away, because I likewise one day want to know the same from them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's something that will happen over time. It just, these things that, and we also have the issue, that sometimes sales are recorded here, and then it takes quite a few months for them to get through the government sort of database system, which I'm sure you found as well. So it's just looking at ways that can be speeded up, and agents can gain access to those sales prices, a bit quicker. But it would be useful information. But I would say, and I'm sure you would say that as a sort of valuations guy, there are some limitations here, as in Bermuda's not like a street in London where Victorian townhouse, and so if someone's listing at £1 million and the last house on that road sold for 700, it's a red flag.
You still have to know the property.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because everything's so unique. I mean,
you could drive 1 minute from here. This is in the high threes, 3 million. You could drive a minute, and it would be a house for 650. So it is tougher in terms of location. Yeah.
Well, I think, unless Ben has any more questions.
Nothing else. No, I mean, keep doing what you guys are doing. It's incredible seeing the growth of Property Skipper, and the evolution of it as well. So we're all fully behind you guys. So thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you. I mean, we operate, and we're only successful as the agent community that's on us, and as the agents are innovating, especially you guys with shows like this, and photography work and all the rest of it. It just increases the level of Bermuda real estate, and as I say, a lot of the buyers and the renters, they're coming from London, New York, wherever, which they already have this, or they've had it for a longer time, and it's just, I think it's great for the island that slowly those the quality of the images, data, and everything is improving, and the transparency in the market is increasing as well. So
absolutely,
it's all positive stuff.
Last question. Sorry,
you've already had your last question.
I know.
Wrapping up.
Cut.
It just came to mind since you mentioned it. Where would I guess generally speaking, the most other hits be coming from the sites outside of Bermuda?
So pretty much as I mentioned, obviously Bermuda domestic traffic is first, then USA, and then it's Canada and UK pretty tied, and then it's Ireland, and then it's maybe because we're there as well, the Channel Islands. Then after that,
because when you go to the website, you can click the other countries, so maybe that's a lot of feeds. Yeah.
And then there's also the minorities made up of Australia and wherever else sort of the expat community is coming from. But
I was just generally curious.
It's a good wide.
Any other questions, Dan?
That was my last question.
Coming to do another final wrap.
Yeah. He already said his closing remarks.
Peter, much appreciated for coming on the show
very
today. Welcome guests back anytime, and look forward to having you come again.
I'll reserve episode 9 as well then, right?
Yeah, exactly. Every episode. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Good all the time.
All right, and we are back. Thank you to Peter Goodall of PropertySkipper.com. Very, very interesting stuff. Learned a lot, educated me on quite a bit of different aspects of Property Skipper and what their future sort of developments are going to be. Because there's some exciting stuff coming up in the near future. So look forward to having them back and to just building a forging relationship there.
Yeah,
I'd
no,
say,
absolutely. And they've changed the game with Bermuda real estate. I think any industry always needs people to push the envelope, change the way that business is done and looked at. So really kudos to them for
only 8 years or 9 years. After that's 10.
10 after, and then 11 after
Yeah,
that. So.
but that really actually shocked me quite a bit. But let's get to it. Great episode. So let's not keep it any longer than we have to.
Sure. It is cold.
What's your keys to the episode? Your key to the episode.
My biggest key, I think, is just the fact that it is really helping Property Skipper. When you go on there, you see all the other competition and what other agents are doing. And I think it's so important to really, continue to make real estate a business and not just a social hobby, and to raise the game. You see the other photography. Some wonderful agents around the industry are doing floor plans, Matterport, which ourselves and other agents are doing as well. So, really to make. To put in the effort to kind of make, whether you have a place for sale or for rent, to earn that commission and actually not just expect it. So really raising the game and putting us on par with around the world where, properties are presented in, such a first-class manner. So
Just
that's really
up in the standard. No,
yeah,
that makes
it needs
complete
to.
sense. Complete sense. All right. I think my one would be from a buyer point of view. So your one was probably more some from an agent point of view that would use Property Skipper. My one's going to be from a buyer point of view is that we have a website like Property Skipper where you're able to actually, see everything that's out there on the market and whatnot. So, really utilize that to really get a good idea of everything that's available to you and shop around. But also you have the features like the alerts and stuff like that. So if you know exactly what you want, where your budget is, et cetera, take advantage of that so you can be sort of first to the punch, especially in the market like what we're experiencing right now. That would be my key right there.
Nice. And typically, we always like to do a small business shout out. So, Daniel, this month, who are we talking about?
I'm not sure. I thought you said you was going to say it.
Oh, was I? I didn't say that. But anyway, loquat and honey, I think we should talk about because earlier, I guess in January, we had our delayed due to COVID and traveling as well from our team. We had our holiday party at my house with the Keys to the Rock crew. And they did an amazing charcuterie. Is that what we call it? Cheeses and meats and all of that, and it was amazing. And I actually had a Super Bowl party as well, and had them, and they do an amazing job. So definitely look them up, Loquat and Honey.
Nice.
And wonderful.
All right. Well, I think at this point, this is where we say sort of like, comment, subscribe, and share on all of your different social media platforms. Exciting that we're joining. We have our great partners, so I'm going to shout them out one more time. Much appreciated to CG,
Good like that.
who's powering this episode and this entire venture. And then we also have fantastic sponsors that are helping out.
Greenlight Energy.
Yeah, I'm getting to it.
I thought you forgot.
It's getting to it. So we have Greenlight Energy, we have Hamilton Legal, and then we've partnered with Burn News. And this will probably be featured on Property Skipper. I'd like to thank, we'll twist Peter's arm. But anywho, thanks for watching, and reach out to myself or Ben for any of your real estate needs. Episode 8.
Thanks, guys, for episode 8.